Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mikey Stephenson.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Hello. Yeah. Hi, guys.
Not really. I mean, it's Mike Stephenson.
Mikey.
I was just thinking how it would roll off for this one.
Roll
so,
off,
who are we
honey.
reviewing tonight, Mike? No,
Yeah. Right, here we go. She doesn't want to say it.
No.
Okay. Brave, Gunjyo Senki, 2021. It's a Japanese action-adventure historical fantasy with a time slip involved. How's that grabbing, guys?
Yeah.
It covers all bases. You know? Now, I've got a lot of producers here, but it came out of Toho Studios. I think they were the guys who were a major player in a lot of the Godzilla movies and stuff as well. So they've been around for years and years and years. So, okay, produced by a lot of people. Here we go. Minami Hikikawa as one of the producers, Neihiro Kawada as a producer, Taro Mori as a line producer, Tomoya Nishino is a producer, Tadahisha Sakamoto is a line producer, Yoshihiro Sato is a producer, and Akihiro Yamauchi is an executive producer. Directed by Katsuyuki Motohiro. I think I've seen his name somewhere before. I'm just saying to Sarah. Don't know. I think we must have reviewed something else with he or her as the director. Writing credits: Masaki Kasahara. He did the manga comic.
This was from an actual manga comic,
and it was transferred into a real action life.
Yeah, you heard me tell you guys on the last couple of years, they've often transferred manga-related comics and turned them into real live action movies or TV series.
So the manga and anime sort of stuff, I think manga used to actually be a graphic novel. Like a comic book like Superman or Batman. Well, what's the difference? So, yeah, same sort of thing. And when I say writing credits, Masaki Kasahara was the manga person, and Toru Yamamoto was, I gather, who probably did the screenplay.
Yeah, I think this was one of the best live action...
One of the better ones.
Adaptions of manga I ever did see in my life, guys. And I know I've said this about several time slip related movies out there and TV series, but this one has kind of really took my fancy. Even if it does mean I have to read the subtitles, but it's not the big problem.
I hate subtitles and I still enjoyed it.
But I still enjoyed the fact that the storyline and the character development, and I like the characters who portrayed their roles.
Yes.
Go on, Mike.
I'm not going to go through all the actors. My tongue will be in a knot by the time I'm finished. So I'm just going to mention a couple of them. McKenyu, he only uses one name, plays Aoi Nishino. Haruna Miura plays Matoyasu. Bugger! I'm not going to mention. No, I cannot do it.
I'm sorry, guys.
I don't have a Japanese accent either. So
sorry, guys.
Lots of really good groovy actors and actresses, or if you want to be politically correct, actors are in this production. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll go into the story if Mike doesn't have anything to add.
Well, I don't speak Japanese, so I can't read the names properly, so it doesn't really help. So, wait a minute. This was released straight onto the web, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know production cost or budget because it went straight on the web. So
yeah. So I'll send you. I'll post a link down the bottom
so
you guys can watch the full movie at your own leisure.
Online. Yeah.
Yes, as I often do.
See that? Well, we do that sometimes. I mean, we can't. Not everything's on at the theatre when we want to review it anyway. So sometimes we watch things online and stuff, and we rent a video or something, and that sort of stuff. And we do whatever we do to get the job done. How's that?
Yeah. So I'll start the story.
Take it away, Grizzly.
So the story begins on a stormy night, I think. And a student who's on top of the school building is watching this very big boulder-type rock. It's very big, and it starts acting funny.
I'll set the scene here. This is the sporting school in Japan. Yeah. And right in the middle of all the buildings, there's buildings built in like a bit of a square, like around a central area. And the central area had this dirty, great monolith-type rock in the middle of it.
A boulder or rock.
Big rock thing, yeah.
So at the center of the school is this massive boulder that's sort of the thing that kind of gets the whole tension of this movie, pretty much. So,
well, no, the whole tension of the movie. It's a centerpiece.
It's a centerpiece in the school, if you will.
Anyway, you're getting back onto the storm. There's a big storm raging.
Yeah, and then the kid, I'm not sure if he's a kid or a young man, he jumps inside towards the boulder, and somehow he disappears. And then we learn 1 year later he's missing, as in he's a missing person. And it's all over the school. So anyway, we introduce our characters. One of our characters is at an archery club, and this is throughout this movie. We are introduced to each of the characters and what role and what club they do.
In sporting groups, they had a football, a gridiron football, they had archery, they had baseball, fencing,
and American football, if you will. And there's fencing, English fencing, not the samurai fencing, so you don't get confused.
You're using foils instead of swords.
So don't get confused because it's Japanese.
And some other
you get
things,
the idea.
There's macrame. Oh, that's paper folding, isn't it? But karate, the karate in there.
Karate, and let me see. There's kendo. And a bit of all sorts of different stuff.
It's a sporting college, university.
I would say it's a high school, I think. That's what it's called.
Senior high school sporting sort of thing.
And there's, of course, there's a science club, but everyone knows about the science club. Everyone has a science club. But the main focus is on the athletic side to this sort of thing. So anyway, the kid in question is a boy named, what's his name again?
I don't know. I'm not going for all the names. I can't pronounce it.
Aoi, who is not really good with archery, or for that matter,
he doesn't try hard. He doesn't
try harder.
He's probably good at it.
His only biggest enjoyment, if you will, is history and stuff like that.
He's a brainy kid and young man. And the problem is, he gets into different sports, but he doesn't try hard because he feels like I might fail anyway, so I'm not going to try hard.
His girlfriend, I think it's his girlfriend, I'm not sure, but I think it's a friend. She's really good at archery, and his other friend who's into, he's good at using samurai swords, I think. Stuff. But he just feels like he doesn't have the heart for being in archery or any other sport in general. Then suddenly we start developing a storm right away. This is not going right into character development for every single character.
No, they didn't do that, which is great. We got straight into some great action. Yeah,
it starts getting thundery, lightning, and stuff like that. And the raindrops, they somehow turn into this red, bloody colour.
Yeah, it wasn't actually blood, but funny off-coloured sort of weird stuff. Yeah.
So anyway, then some weird stuff starts happening. Some figures appear and start attacking the school. And the school's city around it have disappeared and turned into just massive forest all around the school.
Okay.
The school itself is still intact, obviously.
Going back to nature.
And these figures appear and they start attacking the students and their teachers and anyone. And most of these students get killed, and most of them get...
A lot of them do.
Yeah, and anyway, the remaining students are either abducted and kidnapped and taken away by the said soldiers, and the rest of them stay behind and kind of meet with the other people of the oppositions who are trying to fight back these oppressors. Of course, it took a bit of time, but eventually they did tell them that they are not of that bad clan or bad group of people, and they wish to save their friends. And of course, the general or commander in charge says, "Fair enough. I'll let you guys go and rescue your friends." Of course, the kid in question, he still doesn't know if he's up to it because he's more of a thinker than a doer.
Yeah, he's a smart fella.
While the others are prepared to face their opponents, they start organizing things like with the science club. They develop bombs and stuff and putting them inside footballs and tennis
football
balls.
players can hurl them at the naughty guys. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
And baseballs and stuff like that. So anyway,
and they use a drone or two.
That's true. They use it as a bit of a
spy cam.
But that's much later. So anyway, the remaining students, some of them stay behind and set up they find out that the boulder in question was the thing that kind of allowed them to go into the past, and they think there's going to be a thunderstorm in the next couple of days. So if they will use a sort of Back to the Future approach.
Michael J. Fox. Yeah. I wonder if they stole the idea. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it was all in the comic, Mike, and therefore I think the writer may have got inspired by...
Someone got inspired by somebody. How's that going?
Anyway, so the students, they realise that they have only a few hours to get to the camp, the enemy camp, and get their friends, and then get back there in time before the whole thing starts before the storm happens. So they have only a little time, before any of this stuff happens. So the remaining kids, they head making plans to head to the enemy camp, and along the way they get ambushed, and some of the kids get killed and therefore wounded, and then a few more get abducted by said baddie guys. Yay. Of course, one of the boys' friends is killed. He's a doer, obviously, and he grieves over him, and the commander officer, the general, tells him to continue the fight and try to work hard and get there. Of course, the students are the ones who are are away from the school are all wishing they can be going home and stuff like that. And of course, they're unaware of what's going on with the boulder. One of the students is actually, I guess, a scout who's going to be going to them and telling the big news that if they don't get back before the storm, then they're probably stuck there forever. Anyway, so anyway, they continue with their plan. They use the footballs and baseballs as a sort of smoke decoy.
They soak the baseballs in something, petrol or kerosene or oil or something like that, and they put them, T-ball where you put the ball on top of a stick and then you hit it from the top of the stick. Well, they set fire to them so they wouldn't burn themselves.
They use that as
knocking those in the enemy's compound.
So they use them as decoys, so they can send the drones in to see
where
a layout of the place. So that allows them to get a bit of a layout. So they end up going inside with all their might, using the football players and basketball players and the remaining karate, one of the karate students and the fencing students to fight off the baddie guys as much as possible.
Exactly.
And soon enough, the remaining kids head inside there. They have little or no chance of getting away because there's more soldiers than. And they have only a few students that are fighting for their lives. Most of them do get killed in the process, and they nearly don't come out of there alive almost. But eventually,
people don't normally.
But eventually they do go inside, and we learn that one of the guys who's there is the missing student I mentioned at the beginning, meaning he's been trying to change history by, going back to the past and trying to get the the enemy to become more powerful and win.
Yeah.
So it's up to the students to fight him off and try to change the history. If it does change, soon enough things in the present may not become what they are. I don't know what would have happened if things went a different way. If Germany won, or if War One went a different direction. I don't know what would have happened if we were ended up in that situation either. Myself,
Sarah, I think it's a case that he didn't want Japan to actually progress.
True.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to destroy it.
Yeah, he wanted it to become dark or whatever. Like, he's just crazy. That's pretty much how I can describe. He's a crazo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's move on.
Moving on. Soon enough, the kid fights him using a samurai sword that the leader gave him because he got killed in the attempt at helping the kids. Yeah. Of course.
But before he passed away, he handed the samurai sword over to the young man because he had faith in him. Oh, no, lovely.
He begins fighting his opponent, and eventually he wins. And now the kids have to head back to the school. So some of them soon get back there. Of course, he realizes that he cannot go back because someone has to stay behind and fix things between.
Yeah. Try to get history to go in the right direction because it was a bit shaky at the moment.
Yeah, so he told his love interest, that he has to stay, and so he heads back on the horse back to the past, and while the rest of the students...
When you go back to the past, or before the school
the school left, he heads off into the woods to continue what he started, and the remaining students, they head back to the future, and we then get a flash forward to the students. Some of them have been injured, others have moved on, others
got buried.
Probably even got are unaware of what happened. Maybe
no, that's a day off. Yeah.
Anyway, so the girl ends up heading to her class, and she's browsing through the internet on her phone, and there she sees a photo an illustration of the guy
that is an historical guy. There's a name, and she looked up, and there's a recent photo or a recent image of him had been located, and it was her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, and he was wearing a kimono or
whatever the
kata,
guy wants to call it,
which has the same flowery pattern that she gave a handkerchief to wrap around his hand.
A wound on his hand. So he took that and got someone to make a weave out of it.
Yeah,
in the same pattern.
Bit of a dedication to his girlfriend. And
lovely.
It was really touching, that moment, because it's not a love story per se in this movie.
But
it's
more rather good that he was doing something.
It's more of an action adventure in this one, and a bit of fantasy and history, considering this is based off historic stuff here and there.
Actually, that's one thing I really like about these Japanese and maybe some Chinese and other things. They sometimes bring in real historical stuff into it.
I agree.
And it gives a sense of reality, which
is
it's
great.
Yeah.
Mike and I were talking today. That it's a shame we don't have this types of cultures in our
Australia's only a young culture, only about a little over 200 years old, and before that we had the indigenous people and lots of trees and no infrastructure. So there's no history here. But when you go to Europe, Asia, England, lesser America, but America got settled, obviously.
There are so many interesting historic things that happen all over the world.
Yeah, so we're a bit on the young side here, which is a bit sad.
We haven't even reached our historic goal. Most of our history is centered around either the Aborigines and the colonies that formed over here, which was many years later. But
you look at
we haven't even here. We feel like we've barely even begun.
What was I going to say?
Go on, Mike.
I think 1788, if my memory serves me correctly, is when they had the first settlement here. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a little over 200 years ago, which isn't a long time.
Which is not too long ago. I just wish... I know that the Aborigines have a history too, obviously, but I just wish we did have a bit of a more interesting history over here. Like maybe we would have had developed our own martial arts, or even a famous historic figure came out of this place. I don't know.
We just don't have those movers and shakers.
We don't have very many movers shakers over here.
Like in the other cultures,
Like in America, they have a lot of movers and shakers
but
here and there.
America, you going to tell them the story?
Yeah. So anyway, the kid's gone back to the past. He's now taken over the identity of the general that died. Therefore, he has made the future a little bit better.
He's kept on track. Yeah.
So that's the end.
Now let's get back to what we're talking about. Where were we?
You were saying about the Japanese and Asian type, or Japanese and Chinese type movies and TV series.
Yeah, what was I saying?
You were saying how wonderful they are.
Yeah, they got a sense of history and stuff, and an atmosphere and stuff. We don't have a lot here. Yeah, it's contemporary. Even 200 years is still a bit contemporary sometimes. Yeah. So,
rock it as much as you can, but I do wish we did have a bit
more an older culture. Yeah. And I don't mean the Aboriginal culture. I mean the Western culture.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have something that's something that we can enjoy about Australia
and bring into movies,
and not just Australian Day, because everyone celebrates Australian Day. That's boring.
A war movie or another one about the outback, or it gets tired.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good movies.
The only
thing
that's interesting that the only things we have here are the Australian Memorial thing, which I don't even want to remember.
No, we don't have. We have some good movies being made in Australia, but they are. In some ways,
we're all focused about World War One or War Two.
Not. There are good movies, but they don't have the substance behind them like they have other cultures, because they're all, I wouldn't say the samey, but you got Harlequin, that was a good movie.
I agree.
Stone was done quite a few years ago. You had the Last Wave, that was a good one. I think it was an American production done in Sydney. There's a lot of good movies done in Australia, but there doesn't seem to be enough of them.
Yeah.
We haven't got enough to play with. Yeah.
I almost wish we could have more here.
Yeah.
But I guess the only ones we could probably get a glimmer of is the independent ones as we speak.
Yeah, independent guys are trying to make it go. But now, look, we are getting more movies done now. But yeah, like I said, they're independent and stuff, and a lot of people don't even see them because they don't get in the theatres. They get on the internet maybe, and or they go straight to DVD or streaming. And
you've got to admit, Mike, a lot of the independent type movies are interesting.
They are, yes. They're the new blood, and nobody gets a chance to see them, which is. I mean, there's people all over the world, independent people who are the new guys, and we have to remember that you're.
They're the movers and shakers of the next industry. Generation. And bear in mind, Steven Spielberg, John Carpenter, George A. Romero, Wes Craven, they were all newbies once, and most of them didn't see filmmaking as their first career option.
No, you look at Roger Corman. Wasn't he an architect or something, or an engineer, graduate at university? Worked out for about a week or two, didn't like it, and then gave up, and then got a job on a movie lot.
Yeah,
as a runner or something, or rather,
not every one of us has been kissed by the gods with their attempt at becoming a filmmaker or an actor or whoever.
Yeah, so it's really weird. I would love to have an old culture to work with.
Yeah, I mean, as I told you guys in the past, filmmaking was never my first career objective. I wanted to be a graphic designer, but I didn't get enough clientele for it, and I didn't get enough.
But you also got a taste for.
But it gave me a taste for trying
to be artistic.
To be artistic, and then I went to do photography, and then it got me into deciding to become a filmmaker in some point, and I kind of enjoyed the filmmaking and editing process. The editing, the final print, getting to be the first to look at it before anyone else does.
Actually, Sarah does everything. She'll write the story, or the synopsis, the story, hold the auditions, producer, director, post-edit, marketing. What else? Is there anything else?
Well, there's plenty. But as I said before, it's always good to have your hand in many pies as much as you can.
Well, wash your hands, okay?
Yes, and it's always good to remember to keep a good crew and cast together.
Yeah, well, actually, that's one thing. You can have everything at your fingertips. And if you don't have a good cast crew to make it work, you might as well stay home and save your money. Okay, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So, I don't suppose we can ask for reviews on this or reception?
I couldn't find any. So, however,
what?
I was thinking. However, I was thinking. We can't get reviews from from Rotten Tomatoes and everything, but I couldn't find any. But I would say, by the caliber of this production, in light of other ones we have seen, which have been reviewed, it's got to be up there with the good ones.
Yeah, so, this one is up there.
The storyline's good. The acting's good. The photography's good. It's in line with all of the other Japanese and Chinese and Korean. Well, probably better than I'm not saying knocking the Korean ones, but I think the Japanese and Chinese make some seriously good movies. Yeah,
give them a chance and give them a good script, and the world is their oyster.
Well, see, Japan's been making movies for a long time. I don't know about China, but Toho Studios, who actually I think produce this as a studio, have been around for years, because I thought they were doing the original Godzilla movies. That goes back to the 50s.
Wow.
So they've been around for a long time. So
that's cool.
So they've had a long film industry, and obviously they're doing a lot more things in Japan. Martial arts movies probably that we don't see over here, and dramas and police stories and love stories. We just don't see them because we're not an Asian culture. So they've probably got a lot more things happening that we're aware of.
Yeah. And it's lucky that Netflix is now trying to make sure we get a lot more different cultures in movies and TV shows from different places nowadays.
Yeah, so it's really good to have that. I mean, the internet and streaming and all these other good groovy things we've got now, it's sort of gets it out there, which we couldn't do before, and it's good.
I agree. So anyway, if we can't talk about reception or reviews, let's just talk about ratings. About what we think
what we think it should be rated at.
Yeah, what we should rate it at.
Well, I'll go first.
Go for it, as usual.
No. I got no problem with Asian movies and reading subtitles, even though I don't like reading subtitles. But I've got to put up with it, otherwise I won't know what's going on. Anyway, I'd prefer to read it. I read subtitles and have some cheesy English dialogue put over the top of it, which sometimes doesn't really reflect what's going on. I've seen it again. The attitude changes, the feeling changes.
I'm only glad this
just doesn't work. So I'm going to say that having it in the native language and subtitles, not a problem. The filming, acting, everything's great. I'm going to give it
as long as they don't do it like they did with the zombie series that we did, where they try to put a Canadian American accent over the
Canadian American accent over the top, but it just didn't work. Yeah, they would have been better off getting some Asians speaking English.
Yes.
Doing the voiceovers. So it would have sounded better, but yeah.
I know if you can do it with animation and cartoons.
Hey, wait a minute.
But
here's something.
What?
The Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes.
They had those Chinese or Japanese guys in the suits, right? I think they actually did the voices for them. They actually sounded Asian.
Maybe.
They did. They didn't sound like American or Canadian or anyone. I think it actually used Asian voices.
Yeah,
in English, speaking English.
Anyway, it's not too important. So
it is. It keeps the feel.
Yeah. So anyway, I have nothing against this movie. It's really good, and I like the fact that there's a bit for everyone. Of course, it's not. I would not recommend it for a younger young kid audience.
Yeah, there was a few people being killed. It wasn't bloodthirsty, horrible, blood all over the place like Night of the Living Dead. No, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, Hellraiser. No, that's blood and guts and gore.
Yeah,
You don't
so
want that sort of
I wouldn't
stuff.
recommend it
Not
for
the
that
kiddies,
particular
no.
audience, but it would be good for young teenagers,
mid-teens upwards, I'd say. Yeah.
Maybe a few young adults, obviously.
Yeah, young adults.
So,
But depending on what you say, says I'm 68, going on 69. Happy birthday to me. And I enjoyed it. I wouldn't be my first choice movie, but I was watching it with somebody and I enjoyed it with that person. So it's not a hard enjoy. It's not like I didn't go running out of the room every 5 minutes to put the kettle on, did I? No. So I had a good time watching it. So yeah, it's depending what your taste is. If you don't mind subtitles, don't mind a bit of Asian and a teen related movie, it's fine.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm going to rate it 9 out of 10 myself.
Oh, there you go. That's cool.
I do like the energy, and I like the fact...
energy, yeah.
And I liked...
And it was busy.
Will you shut up?
And it was busy.
Will you shut the fuck up?
You swore.
I'm trying to talk, and you keep interrupting me.
Well, you do it to me.
Anyway, I'm trying to say that I like the fact that there was not just one person that went back in time. It was actually a group of people who went back in time. Instead of the usual, that single person goes back in time, we don't explain why and stuff like that. But in this one, it does explain the key element that kind of put them there in the first place. Although I do wonder in the first bit, well, apart from the guy who goes back in time himself, how the students themselves end up going back in time using that rock. I know it was a thunderstorm and the water turned into blood, stuff like that. It keeps me wondering maybe something in the rock noticed a ripple in the past and knew that it must be repaired, something like that.
What a smart rock!
Maybe it was trying to repair something that was broken, which it was mostly broken, considering the rock was not meant to be allowing them to go back into the past. Somehow, I guess a gate may have been opened, but unknown to everyone else, it was open in the first place, right, Mike? And so the thunderstorm, when in the end, may have been the one.
Explained.
Maybe the thunderstorm at the end was the sort of its way of able to sort of mend the time, but not mend time. I mean, kind of fix time and allow them to go back to the future.
That's a good name for a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I figure. Anyway, I'm only guessing here because I can't work out why these kids got to the past. I understand the first person who got to the past, obviously, but I can't...
But how did he know about it?
Maybe it was historically written down somewhere. Maybe the rock has been around for, say, centuries, and no one understands
millennia, millions of years. Rock's a rock.
And no one ever understood its significance. Maybe the historians did. Maybe they know something about it. Like the students know something about it, where they used one of the compasses, and they were able to find out it was magnetic. Something.
I would have known it before.
Maybe it was not a rock. Maybe it was a meteorite.
Who knows?
I mean, there's no explanation for it. Maybe it was just a meteorite that just landed there, and they decided to create a school around it, and then just to make out that this meteorite is a very important piece, like a sort of the centerpiece.
There was no backstory about the rock.
Like maybe it came from outer space, and that was probably its ability to channel time.
Energy, time, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Although I do wonder, like you said, Mike, why that particular time, back to that war that was taking place, why that time? Was it that when the meteorite happened to arrive there? I could be wrong, I could be right, but maybe it arrived just around that time when the war itself may have broken out, and therefore it created the ripple effect.
Don't know.
I don't know. It's really interesting.
The butterfly effect, dominoes, old pebble in the pond. I do not know.
Or maybe
I didn't say.
Yeah, or even the fact that very day in that very year, after the kid disappeared, that was the same. That was probably
could be anniversary
could have
date.
been the anniversary date for.
It could have been a year later.
Yeah. So in the instant that sort of could have been the reason behind that, maybe. Although I keep wondering, whether or not how these kids got transported back in time, I don't understand. But it seems the guy who from the beginning knew they were coming and probably wanted to kill the students from the future to please his lords and masters who are trying to invade Japan.
Something like that.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I know most of these historic figures in Japan, I probably don't know enough about them or their origin stories either.
Yeah. Anyway, it
it doesn't matter at this point.
I think we're gonna have to fold this one down. There's nothing much really to talk about. Mm-hmm. So otherwise we'll just be boring, run around in circles.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember for next time, guys, not to review so many Asian-related movies.
We're going to have a break from them for a bit.
I'll try to find something that's different. It's been a slow week at the moment.
We've got a taste for the Asian ones, but we promise the next one might be a good old-fashioned slasher movie or a sci-fi or an old movie or something. Just something to break the Asian sort of market at the moment. But we will do a few more later on, won't we?
Yeah.
They're not bad.
Yeah, and Mike here might... you were thinking about even making a horror hosting type series for yourself?
I was thinking about doing... I've got to get a bit more information on what I can actually host and how to actually put it online properly. And I don't want to get into trouble broadcasting... copyright protected stuff. So, I mean, there's got to be years involved. Anything before a particular year I'm allowed to use and stuff. And so, yeah, I might be able to find some good stuff. I've got a huge collection I can drag out. I can do sci-fi, I can do horror, I can do film noir, I can do, you name it. I've even got silent movies in my collection.
Yeah, at the moment I just feel like I'm at that point of trying to find some stuff I haven't even watched yet. That's the whole point of this concept of for me. I'm trying to find things I had never even watched before, because lately the stuff that people are pumping up in America, it's been done. Like when they just brought this new Scooby-Doo adaptation, everyone's giving it not really praising it because it's not. They say
it's not fresh.
It's not good because it's more for an adult animation audience, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing considering the people they're marketing this thing to. It's these kids or these adults.
So the Scooby-Doo crowd's grown up, have they a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean they're still at the age,
okay. But the theme of it
is aged, meaning they kind of are making out that trying to put it in a different direction.
Yeah,
and I think they're trying to please the adult market, but they fail to realize these adults, they prefer the old.
Yeah, the fun they had watching it as a child. I mean, I can watch a Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse cartoon now and still laugh at them.
Yeah,
I don't expect them to say, hey, let's make an adult version of it.
Yeah, I say the same thing when I used to watch a puppy named Scooby-Doo. That was around my day where they did a younger adaptation of Scooby-Doo when he's still a puppy. And that was around my time, and I enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun.
That's cute.
And I thought it was cute. And, of course, I did watch a lot of other Scooby-Doo episodes and series, and they were really wonderful. Of course, I'm just not thrilled about Velma. I mean, it's nothing to do with... It's probably the fact that Scooby-Doo, obviously the series, the only thing that really got me interested in it was the actual dog and Shaggy, obviously. I don't really like Velma. She's not really my favorite. I like Daphne. I like Fred. In small measures, like this much.
I like the dog.
I mean, it's just that Scooby and Shaggy, they were the thing something that glued me to the spot when I listened to watch that.
Scooby-Doo was a rip-off of Astro out of the Jetsons. I don't know about you guys.
Probably. But that's how I feel sometimes. I think a lot of people feel the same, and Rotten Tomato has kind of lower the boom on the series.
Sometimes I make mistakes, and I think this one might be a mistake. I haven't seen it. I can't really comment.
They compared it to Dragon Ball Z, the live action. According to a lot of people in the media, they said that one was a low point grade average movie. Too.
Well, there you go then.
So,
can we get on this? We're supposed to
I
review
haven't
an Asian
seen it
movie
myself
here at the
because
moment.
Dragon Ball Z was not my thing, and even as a kid, I didn't watch it, and I didn't.
Dragon Ball,
and even when I was an adult, I didn't watch it either. Anyway, moving on. So anyway, that's about it for us.
Tell them that you're going to put a link on your.
Yes, I did say already at the beginning, Mike. So
okay,
that's everything for tonight, guys.
Actually, I will say one thing though.
What?
This is on a platform. Is platform the right word?
Yeah,
platform. Is it Bilibili?
Yeah.
And there seems to be a lot of Asian things coming on Bilibili.
Yeah,
so
mostly animation. Most of the time, a bit of movies and miniseries.
So if you like this sort of stuff, have a look on YouTube. You might find the Bilibili site on YouTube. You might find different product in there. You might be interested in. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's worth a check out,
check
guys.
It out. You never know. Something different.
You never know until you actually sit down and try it.
Exactly.
And if you don't sit down and try it, then you're screwed.
Yeah. But anyway, Sarah's going to do a link on this so you guys can have a look at it. So
anyway, that's about it for us tonight, guys. Be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you think of this movie.
Well, there you go then.
And all the best to you guys. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.